How many parents have stood by their kids and defended them from horrible acts such as assault or murder? You see it everywhere, from spoiled brats catching a murder case because of drinking and driving, only to receive a slap on the wrist because their parents hired only the best defense attorney. Or the parents of Courtney Clenny, the OnlyFans model that killed her boyfriend. Clenny's parents were arrested for deleting evidence from the victim's laptop, only to have the charges dropped because the judge ruled that the prosecutor violated attorney-client privilege, though that's another subject. The point I'm making is that many parents will do whatever they can to defend their children, even if their children are horrible. There is one thing that some parents just can't forgive, though. That one thing that we are all unfamiliar with, but pretend to care so much about, and that's the transitioning from one gender to another. That's right, the notorious transsexual agenda from Big Gay. Well, that's what the rhetoric would have you believe. We all know someone that brings up the transgender topic out of nowhere, yet has never actually met a transgender person. I bring this up because Elon Musk was recently interviewed by Jordan Peterson, and he claims one of his sons died. And of course, you can say, JJ, you're being dishonest, because even the trans community uses the phrase dead naming, which, if you don't know, refers to misgendering someone that has already expressed how they'd like to be identified. And even Elon Musk says so during his really awful interview. And that's my opinion. You can have yours. Ultimately, I'm here to point out that Elon Musk chose to abandon his child because she wanted to transition from male to female. And from the looks of it, she did, and is doing as fine as she can without the support of her father, because, to be honest, it sucks that she couldn't have celebrated this with both her parents. Let me play the clip for you, and we can continue discussing.
I lost my son, essentially. So, you know, they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
All right, so let's...
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Why are you willing to make this an issue, do you think? I mean,
well,
it's sort of like the nameless
issue. It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. You know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety, and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too. And they're too cowardly to come out and say it. Right? And so and then we end up in exactly, when I saw that lie start to propagate, it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's like, I see. So you're telling parents that unless they agree to this radical transformation, that their children are going to die, and you think that's moral, and you think that's true. That is so pathological that it's almost incomprehensible. I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine a therapist doing anything worse than that, or sitting by idly and remaining silent while his colleagues are doing it. It's pathetic.
It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
It won't stop till that happens.
Yeah.
It'll just go underground. Puberty blockers are being accessed online by kids all the time through non-medical channels. So yeah, right. It's not going to stop. Yeah. Okay, so I see. So that's.
So I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs.
Let's address a few points made by Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson. You probably can't be the best parent if you're constantly working. And according to Elon, he's always working. But then he claims that because of COVID, there was some confusion, and I'm sure parenting was much more difficult for parents during COVID. But Elon is a billionaire. COVID must have been hard on the parents without the many resources that Elon Musk has. The parents without health insurance, without a proper paying job. And if you want to tell me that those parents were getting a lot of money during COVID from the government, then all I have to say is that sources such as the Washington Post and many others reported that billionaires, including Musk, made over $360 billion during COVID. COVID was not a bad thing for Elon. Then Jordan says that suicide rates by kids that identify as trans are only high because they're already predisposed to depression. And I found this confusing because if there are kids that are already going through depression, it's safe to say that they might suffer even more knowing that a lot of people don't like trans people. I also want to mention this idea of regretting your transition, which I'm sure is possible. I grew up in a conservative far-right Pentecostal house, and I can make a video on that one day, not right now. I bring it up because I know people that came out as gay, and they regretted it, reverted back to being straight, and now testify about their struggle and how they're cured. The people I'm referring to are still gay, but coming out meant that the very people that loved them suddenly, instantly abandoned them, disowned them, cried and begged them to seek forgiveness, sent them to church to get exorcised, to rid themselves of the gayness. I saw that happen to several people. And all you have to do is go online or listen to billionaires and politicians, to famous athletes and celebrities and podcasters with millions of listeners. And it's not hard to see how much hate the LGBTQ community gets. So if it were up to Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk, a lot of people would not be able to transition. And what happens if that person's suffering so much, partly because they feel so unaccepted? What happens if they ended their own life? There's no longer a chance to pretend that you're just protecting them, which is why you don't let them transition. They're gone now. And I think it's much better to have a person transition than to have them gone. Elon's daughter is alive. The person he helped create is still here on Earth. And he chose to love them under certain conditions. And it sucks because we all deserve good and present parents. So now we have a billionaire that is playing the victim. You saw how he was talking. He has made himself the victim. And this family matter has made him so angry that he can use his billions of dollars to negatively impact the lives of others. And the fact that he's allowed to do this, it's crazy. I'm new to YouTube, and I appreciate all my new followers, especially those from TikTok. So I want to thank you for the support. I know this is a heated subject, and it's criticism of Elon Musk, which probably means I'm going to get some mean comments. But if pointing out that parents should be there for their kids is controversial, then so be it. With that said, I'm going to keep surfing the internet for more news on your favorite billionaires. Peace.